right, let's walk through this example for how we find the equilibrium level for a difference equation. So we had this fish population where n is representing the number of years and the x sub n is representing the number of fish. So here's our difference equation, x sub n plus 1 equals 0.9 xn plus 500. So just as a reminder how we interpret this, we take the x sub n plus 1 to be the fish population in year n plus 1. So you can think of that as being next year. And then the x sub n on the right hand side, you can think of that as being this year. So to calculate next year's fish population, we do 0.9 times this year's population and then plus 500. Okay. And then of course this x sub 0 right here is the 1,000, that's the initial population. All right, so what we really want to do right now is to find the equilibrium level. So for the equilibrium level, we set x sub n equal to L and x sub n plus 1 equal to L in our original equation. Okay, so the reason that we're doing that is because we're thinking about far into the future, or for larger values of n, the population in year n and in year n plus 1 are actually going to be exactly the same. All right, so we're going to take, I'll go ahead and write the equation. X sub n plus 1 equals 0.9 x sub n plus 500. And now I'm going to take this xn plus 1 and this xn and replace them both with L. All right, so we have L equals 0.9 L plus 500. All right, so now this equation that we just wrote down is an equation in one variable. We know how to solve that. If it helps, you can put a 1 in front of this L right here. Usually we don't write 1 as a coefficient, but in this case I think it makes it a little bit easier to solve for the L. So our first step is going to be to subtract 0.9 L from each side. When we do that, of course, they cancel on the right-hand side. And then if we have 1 L minus 0.9 L, that leaves us with 0.1 L. And then on the right-hand side, we're just left with 500. So then, again, we're trying to get L by itself. The next step is to divide each side by 0.1, and that leads us to an L, or equilibrium level, of 5,000 fish. All right, so again, the interpretation of that is meaning that in the long term or many years in the future, this fish population in this lake is going to level out to be at 5,000 fish.